Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney on this channel. We answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. Tonight, not tonight when you see this, but tonight on the day that I'm making this video, I'm going to the U.S. Open for the men's semifinals, I think. Finals? Semifinals? I don't really know. I'm just learning how to play tennis this year, so someone was kind enough to give me some U.S. Open tickets, and I'm going to go. It's going to be fun. Gonna have some honey deuces, which I think is the signature beverage of the U.S. Open. I don't know. Tickets to the U.S. Open are stupidly expensive, apparently, and when you look at the live stream of the games online, the stadium's a third to half empty all the time, and I'm forced to wonder if the tickets weren't so expensive, would more people go? And I'm sure they're working like the New York Yankees do, some kind of theory oh, we charge more so we make more even though there's fewer people in the stands. Maybe there's truth to that. I'm not a mathematician, a quant, or whatever you might call it. But I digress. We have a question here from YouTube user Diesel Gang, who asks us, what was your LSAT score, Mr. White? I decided to try to go to law school. All right, so I am going to give you my LSAT score, but I'm going to give you two caveats first. One, I went to law school a long time ago. I took the LSAT a long time ago. So I don't think that the LSAT score when I took it has the same meaning as today. I don't know what the difference is. I'm just saying I've seen LSAT scores come in for some of our hires, some of our potential hires and people applying to jobs here list their LSAT score, which frankly I always think is a bit ridiculous. But it seems like LSAT scores mean something different now. Or I'm not interpreting things correctly. Entirely possible. I don't know what LSAT scores mean in 2024. I'll be frank about that. Two, if you are considering going to law school, your LSAT is meaningful in terms of where you might get in and what kind of scholarships you might be offered. That is the last time your LSAT is meaningful. The first and last time. It will never be meaningful again. Even a first-year associate position or any first-year legal intern, summer associate positions, if they ask for your LSAT, do not apply. That is not a good place to work. That is a stupid workplace run by stupid people, and you should not work there. So, Diesel Gang, keep that in mind when you take the LSAT. Do not be discouraged. There is no correlation between the LSAT and anything else except what law schools you might get into, and when you get into those law schools, what initial scholarships you might qualify for. Now, all that said, my best recollection is I scored a 163 on the LSAT. That is not amazing. It's serviceable. It was enough to get me a couple of scholarships, which was important to me because I probably could not have afforded law school. I kind of worked my way. I had a scholarship for undergrad, but I worked quite a bit to get through undergrad to afford everything. And then in law school, I worked quite a bit too, but certainly the scholarship helped a great deal. Listen, scholarships in law school, you got to watch. My law school, they took everyone with a scholarship, everyone, in my entire first year course of study. They took everyone with a scholarship, grouped them into a small section together, and then curved our grades just against each other. So mathematically, because of the way they set the grades that you would lose your scholarship if you dip below a certain GPA, they ensured that at least 2/3 of the scholarships would be stripped by the end of the first year. That is ugly, dirty, gross, horrible behavior. No question. And they did not tell anyone they're going to do that before they lured you in with scholarships and then did this bait and switch where they stripped 2/3 or more of the scholarships with this dirty, dirty plan because they're dirty, dirty, bad people. Now, I say this, one, because I'm so mad about it. I actually kept my scholarship, bizarrely enough, because there were many, many more intelligent people surrounding me in that small section. I will tell you that right now. But they were not perhaps as on the verge of starvation as I was. So, high stakes led to different outcomes, perhaps. So just when you're looking at law school scholarships and making decisions based on the institution you're going to go to, I would urge you heavily to investigate in great depth the behavior of that institution vis-a-vis scholarships and how they go about scholarships and what the likelihood is that you will retain your scholarship throughout your entire law school career, which is usually 3 years. Law schools are not all equal. I will say that. They have different levels of instruction. They have different levels of notoriety. There's some jobs that you can only have if you went to certain law schools. Is that silly? Yes. Is it also true? Yes. Yes, it is. I have friends who are incredibly talented, they've achieved so much, they've done so much, and they would like to be a high-end law school professor for the rest of their career. But they don't have the right degree, so it can never happen. It's also, listen, a lot of people would argue that it is difficult to be a federal judge, climbing the ranks without the correct degree from the correct schools. Doesn't matter what you've achieved, doesn't matter what level of work you complete. If you don't have the correct degree from the correct schools, you simply won't be considered for those roles. It's just not how things are done. It's giving British aristocracy in how we operate some of those jobs. Now, none of that matters to me because the best law schools, I would argue, are the worst law schools for plaintiff side attorneys. Because, one, law school doesn't teach anything relevant to plaintiff side employment law, certainly in my experience. But also, the realities of plaintiff side practice are generally not going to be allowed to be taught at most high-end law schools, right? You can get into, there's some law school, Buffalo Law School, where you can go. I don't know what the price is now, but when I was choosing law schools, I could have gone there for $6,000 a semester. It's like a state school. Could have and should have. I thought my scholarship at a better school meant more. Stupid. Very stupid. Worked out for me in the long run because I was in New York and some good things happened for me and I had some options. Worked in an investment bank, worked in employment law. Maybe some of these things would not have been available to me had I been in the Buffalo area, right? That could have been problematic for me. But I think a school like Buffalo would teach you more about the actual practice of law than what you might learn at Harvard, right? Just being realistic here. And even then, even with a clinical law education like you might get at Buffalo Law, they're not really giving you the details, the nitty-gritty of plaintiff side practice. No one's going to tell you how to get malpractice insurance. No one's going to tell you how to balance your books. No one's going to tell you how to hire and fire and how to manage your war chest for your cases and what cases do you take and what's your risk tolerance. And these no one who knows these things would choose to teach, for starters, because they can make way more money in plaintiff side practice, but also they would not be allowed to teach. The videos I make in this channel about the ethics of hiring a private eye as a plaintiff side employment attorney, that would not be taught in a law school. I assure you that using the press, protecting your client's narrative in the public eye. No. These things are not taught. These things are as we say, verboten. They are verboten. They are for the low attorneys, right? The low attorneys who tend to earn a little bit better. Yeah, I would Diesel gang. I would expect you would do amazing at the LSAT. But if for some reason you don't, or you do amazing but not as amazing as you might want, do not be discouraged. The LSAT does not have any impact in terms of the quality of your practice. It does not forecast how you will do in law school. It does not forecast how you will do in practice. In fact, I would say there is no correlation between the LSAT and your ability to practice law whatsoever. But that being said, that's not what you asked me. You asked me what I got, and I answered your question. For whatever that's worth, I hope it helps. Take care. Oh, like, subscribe, comment down below. Share the channel so it can grow. Take care.